Welcome to the Rockstar Relationship Show with Keith and Jesse.
Grab your favorite drink, put down your judgy attitude, and let's rock.
And here we are for another episode of the Rockstar Relationship Show with Keith and my beloved over here,
Jesse.
Or as Garrett calls you, Jess.
That's because he's a good friend.
Yeah.
What up, Jess?
He's a homie. All right. Myth busting time. You ready to bust this big myth?
I love busting him.
Just busting. Here we go. The myth is that if you leave your partner, you will find someone better. It's not true in 99.9% of the cases. Here's why. The reason your partner is not acting the way you want them to, I believe that partners, especially women, are mirrors to how we treat them. So if you don't like the way she's showing up, there's a very good chance, a very high likelihood, you're not showing up in that great of a way. And so you think you're going to go get some of that new car smell, which who doesn't love new car smell? It's intoxicating, but it's very misleading. Take it from a couple of people that have broken up with each other, chased new car smell, only to realize, yeah,
He farts too.
that new car smell, it was fun, but I want to be with you. Here's the thing about new car smell. It can be very misleading. The problem is, if you smell like shit and you get in a new car, eventually that new car is going to smell like shit.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
Okay.
But that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one messing it up. But I'm not the one messing it up, Keith. Cool. Go take our 7-day first aid kit. Jump into our 90-day survival guide. And if you can complete that and still feel the same way, boom, go get you some new car smell. You earned it. You deserve it.
Yeah, then you're better off.
You're better off. And
you're
you
better,
can prove it.
Yeah, and you're better.
But there's a 99% chance
Yeah.
that you're messing it up, dude. And she is responding. Now, are there crazy women? Yes. Are there crazy men? Yes. Are there crazy humans? Yes. But more than likely, you're messing it up. So here's what happens. Go ahead.
Oh, if you're with someone who has baggage, you're going to find somebody else with different baggage.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well just work through the baggage together.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What does Bieber say?
The
The grass is green where you water it.
Is it too late to say sorry?
That too. The grass is green where you water it.
Justin Bieber says that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Oh, that's hilarious. Even though his new album is fire. It's so good. Have you listened to it yet?
No, we're getting paid for that. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Coming to from our promotional sponsor, Justin Bieber, and his new album on tour now. It's so good.
Okay.
God, it is so good. At any rate, it's like love making music. I actually think you'd want to make love to it.
Oh, I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Then.
Okay. New car smell is intoxicating. You think that you're going to get out of this relationship and go get in another one. Let me give you a stat that will prove this. This is a stat.
This hit me hard.
Yeah, and it hit me hard. And
Yeah.
It's one of the things that helped me get you back.
Yeah.
If you leave a relationship that you're in for someone else, there is a 97% chance that that relationship will fail.
Why, you say?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. But number one, you only experience them in private, typically. So if you and I are going out and there's some new guy and you start hanging out with him, it's not out in the open. It's not in the clear. It's not above board. There's an element of danger and sneakiness, which all of us humans love. And you're not there every day waking up next to him and smelling his bad breath and watching him do all the bunch of bullshit that you hate that I do, but he does it, but just in a different way. You try and escalate that new relationship as fast as this one, and it's just impossible.
That's what hit me hard.
Yeah.
That piece right there.
Yeah. You can't do it. There's
your
no time.
expectations are what that other person, your ex or whatever, didn't do or did do.
Yeah.
So now you're looking for that in a new person, so you didn't get time to like get over that stuff.
So this is when I want to release and reveal to the world our bucket theory.
It's a good one.
It's never been said. There's nobody out there that is a psychologist, psychiatrist, any of that has this. I've never seen it anywhere. I say that, and I really do say that not because I'm proud of it, but because it's so practical, and I want you to understand this. Here's what happens in relationships. Let's say there's 6 buckets that we're trying to fulfill, whether it's intimacy.
We used to say 7.
What?
We used to say 7.
I thought it was 8.
Oh, well.
But we can, let's say 7. 7 buckets. Doesn't matter how many buckets.
Doesn't matter.
But let's say there's 7 buckets. Intimacy, loyalty, like there's just, time. Like there's buckets we want people to fill. Looks, attraction, those types of things. And then
fun.
Yeah. So 7.
Okay.
Just think of 7 things that you need in a relationship. All right?
Okay.
Tony Robbins has 6, stability and novelty. We need a little bit of both. We need, there's some other things. I can't remember what they are. But if there's 6 buckets, 7 buckets, and I'm filling 5 of those buckets for you, but the 2 are really low. But those 2 mean a lot to you, but I don't naturally fill them, and I'm not aware to learn how to fill them for you. Mm-hmm. You will find a guy that's phenomenal in those 2 buckets.
Right.
I'll find a new car gal that's phenomenal in those 2 buckets. And what will happen, and this happens a lot, people will leave a 5 out of 7 bucket relationship, and they will then find themselves in a 2 out of 7. And at first, getting those 2 buckets filled when they were dry,
that's why it's new car smell.
Oh, it feels so good.
It
oh my
smells so
God,
good.
they
So
get
great.
me. They know all the lyrics to the same
everything
songs
he's
I
not.
do.
Mm-hmm.
He's everything the other guy isn't.
Yeah.
And then you go spend a lot of time with this dude, thinking he's a 7 bucket guy. He's a 2 bucket guy. And now you're like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. I am in a worse relationship than I just left. And this is what happens. This is why it doesn't work. It's not a rebound. Rebound is you break up with somebody and then you go out and find somebody, and like the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. That old saying. But that's not it. This is not a rebound. This is I'm leaving this situation to go to a new situation, and you dump the old one for the new one, and the new one will work 3 out of 100 times. I heard that stat from a couple different experts on this situation, and then I've just kind of observed it in my own life growing up, watching people leave, and they'll cheat with somebody, then they'll go become with them, and then that thing will never work. It's just, but there's a lot of scientific reasons for it. But the bucket theory is my belief of why somebody leaves, because those 2 buckets are as intoxicating as anything out there. Mm-hmm. And you're so dry in those 2 buckets that you'll do anything to get those 2 buckets. Mm-hmm. And if you've already communicated clearly, which most people don't, hey, I need these 2 buckets. If I don't get these 2 buckets, I feel like I'm sad. Like my life isn't. We've had good friends to say, I've got a good marriage, but it's not great, and I'm willing to divorce good to get great. And I actually appreciate that. They're saying, I know I'm in a 5 bucket marriage, and I don't want a new 2. I want a full 7, and I won't settle for 7, but I'm willing to do whatever I can to try and make this 5 into a 7 here. That's commendable.
Yeah.
And if you go through the 7-day first aid kit or the 90-day survival guide, you're going to find out how many buckets you are and where your buckets are and what's full, what's not, and you can address that. It's a very clever way that we've come up with to help you figure out where you're at, like realistically. And you guys get to take the test independently of each other, and it sheds a lot of light and says, wow, dude, I thought I was at least a 6.5 out of 7 for you, but you're telling me I'm a 3.5 out of 7. You got to swallow that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other thing about new car smell. It's very misleading. And it's usually sexual or intellectual at first. Have you ever heard that saying that men fall in love with their eyes, women fall in love with their ears?
I don't think so.
It makes sense, though, right?
Yeah, it does.
What do you always say? Oh, those brains.
Those brains.
Those
I
brains
love
are so sexy.
Yeah, I don't sound
right?
dumb.
No.
I'd walk all over them. Can't
Yeah.
do that.
But I look at you and I love your brains, but man, I love your boobs. I love your ass. Like, I love everything about your body. You know what I mean?
All the bees.
All the bees. Eyeballs, big lips. So it's intoxicating. People leave only to find out they actually left a better situation.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is, wherever you go, there you are. And if you haven't stopped, figured out how many buckets you're either missing or not full, and done the work to try and figure out how can we coexist and thrive, like, I don't want anybody else. I want you to fill all my buckets. And you want me to fill all yours.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that why we're together?
Yeah.
But unless you do the work, you don't know.
Always got to try.
I want to say one last thing.
Okay.
These guys, and maybe I'm 41 and I hang out with guys that are older than me a lot because in business, a lot of the guys are kind of a little older. Not everybody, but some of the dudes I do hang out with. It's funny when if I'm out, let's say I'm out with 2 or 3 of my buddies and I'm at a conference and there's a lot of pretty women around or whatever, and I'll hear them be like, oh, God, if I was single.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, if you were single,
Then
what?
what?
None of these girls are going after you, bro. You're 60 pounds overweight, and you haven't fully dressed in the era that we're in for at least 18 years. What are you going to do?
Then what?
You got a lot of money? Okay, cute. But, dude, you're a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
I say that story, and I bring that analogy up for one reason, and that is you might not be the biggest catch you think you are. So you might want to ask yourself, hey, am I filling? How many buckets am I filling for her or for him? Vice versa. There's a real awareness that I think needs to be addressed and say, where are you really at?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add to this new car smell? We know it's intoxicating. What was it for you that finally made your new car smell when you and I broke up? You were with a guy. Mm-hmm. What made it kind of at the end where you're like, was it the bucket analogy? Was it all the stuff I was
all the
learning?
Stuff, yes. Oh, I got to put myself back there. It was all the stuff that you were saying, but it's ultimately I saw you changing for you, not for me, but for you. So that's how you know it's kind of real. Mm-hmm. Instead of just, I'm doing what you said. Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah.
It was, no, you were just being the better you.
Yeah,
and that's what I wanted the whole time.
Yeah, that's what you wanted the whole time.
Yeah. So I think ultimately that was it. Mm-hmm.
Now, there are some of you who don't have traditional relationships where you are of the persuasion, hey, listen, if you want to go experience a little new car smell here and there, that's an answer for some people.
It is, yeah.
And we're in a day and age where I would think I'd be remiss if I didn't bring that up, because that is an answer for some people to be like, listen, I want to be with you forever, but every once in a while I want to take a whiff of that new car. It doesn't mean I want to be with them. I'm not trying to trade in my relationship for that one. I just enjoy a little new car smell, and some couples are cool with that.
Yeah, but that also doesn't mean don't put your all into the one person. That's not always the answer. So, but sometimes if they just, if they're not experiencing all those problems and they just want a little extra smell.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The couples that we know that have done that, or people we've seen do that, their main core thing is really on lock. Like they invest in each other, they build each other up, they're doing those things. So it's kind of like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
That's not for everybody. I'm not even condoning or saying you should do that, but I'm saying that is an alternative. But be wary and go apply these things. This is the big one. The new car smell is I'll find somebody better. That is a lie in the back of your brain that I think has caused a lot of unrest in relationships. God, I could do better. Or if they see a gal, here's it for guys. Let me give you the example for guys. The example for guys is this. They see, and it happens with you and I a lot, because you and I, we do a lot of PDA, and we are kind of on each other a lot. We used to be way worse. Like, people wouldn't even want us around.
Right.
But still now, like, we hold hands, and it's like just best friend. We get along. We jive a lot. And a guy who doesn't have that with his wife will look at that and be like, oh, man, I wish my wife was all over me like Jesse's all over Keith type attitude. But they don't understand how much work has gone into that, and how much pain and how much sorrow that I've had to endure by learning things that I didn't have to go through all the pain. It's just I was stupid enough that I needed to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really why we believe that our work is so important in this world, and why we actually feel called to this. It wasn't something that we're like, hey, what do you want to get into business and do? Mm-hmm. This was me laying in bed after I got you back, which that's when the hardest work began.
Yes.
And we didn't have sex for at least 6 weeks, and we didn't really touch much.
Couldn't touch me.
Yeah. And I remember laying in bed crying. Mm-hmm. And I was bummed. I did all this work to get her back, and then when she was back, it wasn't what it was before, which is obvious because we're humans, but, my expectations were different. And I remember telling you late at night, I was laying there just kind of fighting back tears because I was so disappointed and just broken, really. And I said, we're going to help the world with what we've gone through. That's why we feel called to do this. We've got other successful businesses, but this is our calling.
I love helping people.
Yeah. And helping them get it straight and to just clear up the weird thinking.
The lies they're
you
telling
leaving
themselves.
somebody for somebody else will never solve your problem. And you're in it right now thinking it will, and you're probably thinking I'm full of shit. But take it from somebody who's done that. That I left my first wife, cheated with somebody, only to when I could actually be around them all the time, I realized that isn't exactly what I want. Although that person's a wonderful human being and a great person and all that, it's just, it's kind of fool's gold. It's fool's gold. So get your thinking right. If you need help from us, just email us at support@KeithAndJesse, and or go to KeithAndJesse.com. You can find our 7-day first aid kit there. You can find our 90-day survival guide. If you want to talk with us and have us coach you through your thorniest situations, we can make that happen as well. It's all at KeithAndJesse.com. So if you want a girl's perspective, Jesse has got some real deep wisdom on that. If you want a guy's perspective, I can help. And if you want our perspective together, we're happy to share it. So with that, that's a wrap.
See you later.
Adios. Congratulations on consuming another episode. If you loved it, then leave a review. If you know somebody else will love it, share the episode with them. And if you want our help or you want more resources, go to KeithAndJesse.com. KeithAndJesse.com. Jesse is spelled Jesse, like a boy.com. Go out and absolutely crush it. Have a great day. Go out and do what you got to do to make your relationship rock.